like 11 o'clock. Be interesting. I wonder if,
I think we're live. We are.
oh, hey, cool.
Um,
Hello.
Hello, everybody watching. Um, Today we do not have Kevin, if you haven't noticed.
Uh, yes.
Uh,
Not sure. Hoping he's gonna show up soon. Hope everything's okay. But yeah, sorry to disappoint anybody who's disappointed, but we'll do our best. Um,
do our best to fill Kevin's shoes. I think we got it. Actually, I know we got it. Kevin's probably watching us. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, good morning, everyone. Well, if you're not in California, it's not morning, but um, me and Mark are going to control the day. And if Kevin comes, then we'll see him. If not, then we won't see him, I guess.
that is accurate. Yes, I think you covered all bases there.
Yeah, if he comes, we'll see him. And if he doesn't come, then yeah, we won't see him. Kevin, if you're watching,
We
um,
miss you.
good morning. We miss you already. um, yeah. Um, I don't think Mark, this was to you actually, about the meteor. Did you hear it? Because they said they could hear it over 13 states, and you're way closer to me than it went over like Ohio and stuff like that.
I
And
don't know. I didn't hear anything. If it didn't go like directly overhead, it probably wasn't audible.
oh,
Um,
okay. It says it went over Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. Uh, yeah. Uh, I didn't hear anything. I heard about it on the news, and they talked about where the meteor could be, and it landed in some yard or something. Well, they didn't say how big it is now, but I think you're the one who told me it just burns as it comes down.
yeah, they burn up in the atmosphere. If they make it all the way through the atmosphere, and actually get to the ground, they become what's called meteorite, as opposed to meteor. Meteor while it's in the sky, meteorite on the ground if it makes it, but it's burning up in the atmosphere on the way. That's why they light up and everything. Um, the speed that they're going, you read, what was it, 14,000 miles per hour?
No,
So
the article that I'd seen said 40,000 miles, 40,000
40,000
miles
miles.
per hour.
Yeah,
Uh,
so that is super, super, supersonic. Um, so yeah, the it'd have to be pretty big to make it all the way through. But um, hold on,
yeah, I'm
sonic
trying to
boom,
see where it landed
Pittsburgh,
at. Hmm?
7-ton fireball. It says CBS News says it was a 7-ton space rock. There's a picture of it from
Oh,
CBS in Pittsburgh.
wait, no, the whole thing is 7 tons and still landed, hit Earth.
It was a 7-ton rock when it hit the atmosphere. I don't think it was 7 tons that hit the ground.
Yeah, they're showing this little pebble. Meteorite
Yeah.
hunters scour Ohio for fragments of a 7 ton space rock that crashed into Earth. Yeah, there's meteorite hunters everywhere popping up out of the blue. We're looking for it. NASA pinpoints where meteorites have fallen after Northeast Ohio fireball. Hmm. So they're gonna get all kind of people who are in love with it, are in love with meteors, and go look for them. Is that what
I
they're
mean,
saying?
they're valuable too. They're very valuable. The materials and stuff, when they actually hit the ground, they're worth a lot. There's a lot of collectors out there. I
Oh,
mean, yeah. Um, the material, they're usually like an iron sort of uh chunk of iron and nickel and stuff, but they've been highly valued and priced for, I mean, basically for all of human civilization. If you go back, um, the burial treasure of Tutankhamun included a dagger that was made out of the material from a meteorite. This iron dagger that they formed into, and that iron is much stronger than most of the other materials that they had at the time. So it's very highly priced, the sort
oh,
of thing reserved for kings back then. So
oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's
What?
why a lot of people are after it. It's worth more than gold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, we got Kevin in the comments. He said good morning, and he said the video feed he can't see. Angel, if you cannot see the video feed, I'm not sure what that's about. We don't have
video.
Kevin today, so it's not going to show both of us at one time. Uh,
Ooh,
but good morning. Thanks for watching, and press that like button. Definitely, everybody watching, press that like button. Um, press that subscribe button as well. Also, press the little bell so you can get a reminder when we go live, like Kevin does, because he's a fan or he's part of our big audience. I don't want to call someone a fan. That feels bad calling people a fan. Doesn't that sound weird?
uh, stale. Yeah, I mean. Um, I don't know what a friend, I mean, friend is accurate for sure. Um, a friend, maybe friendly
Yeah.
friend. I don't know. Just part of
Actually, we do have
family.
fans. I'm not going to say we have specific fans, but we have fans. Our audience, they're
There are people who watch regularly. Yeah.
there. We
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
That conversation about the meteorite was kind of interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
what
And
what is it made
the
of? Like,
sound they hear, the sonic boom as it travels, it's pretty interesting too, that phenomenon. The boom is a shock wave, essentially a supersonic shock front that proceeds out at the speed of sound as the object traveling through breaks the sound barrier. Um, so uh, with something like a normal explosion that creates a supersonic shock front that proceeds out in a spherical shape. But when the shock front is created by an object that is moving in a specific direction, it forms a cone. And the longer or the faster the object is moving, the longer that cone becomes. So that cone is expanding at the speed of sound. And if that object is moving at 5 times the speed of sound, then, by the time that cone has expanded a meter, the object is moved forward 5 meters. So that's why it gets so long so fast. So if that thing was traveling at 40,000 miles per hour, that shock front is going to be like a needle, basically. So those pictures that they show on the
You
news
see the
things
video.
when you can, I haven't looked at the video.
Oh, the
But
videos.
the picture I saw, when you see the thing up there, by the time the sound gets to them, it would way far away. Um, so yeah, cool stuff. Be cool to own a meteorite or meteor chunk.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
Probably never
You
gonna
think
happen.
anybody would like if somebody had a meteor, you think there'd be somebody else who really wanted that bad that they go like to you and buy it?
Yes, there is a market for that kind of stuff. There's a huge market for, rock collecting and meteorite chunks are like one, one of the holy grail level um, objects for rock collectors, because they're they're not found here. They're not from here. What else on the earth can you find that is not from the earth, that was not formed in the process of the formation of the earth, that was formed up out somewhere else and came here? That's
It's like getting
rare.
moon dust.
That's rare. Yeah, like the moon dust. Yeah. Um,
Um, oh my
yeah,
goodness.
that's why NASA's working so hard to send a mission back up to the moon to collect more samples and bring them back down here. They need that stuff. First off, because it's valuable. Um, but second off, to study for well, I guess not first off because it's valuable. They're not selling it, but for the scientific knowledge, the research that they can get from it, they can learn a lot about um, what the moon is made of, how the moon was made, and um, where and how a human habitation might be able to fit on the moon. So, um, yeah, uh,
Um, should this be something that we're worried about? Meteors hitting Earth?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what killed the dinosaurs, right? The
Um, oh yeah. There's an
they're
article I just found. It says we can't defend. Why Cleveland, Ohio meteor hit is a serious wake-up call for humanity. For humanity, not just Ohio.
Yeah, well, I mean, anywhere, it can hit anywhere. Ohio is just a matter of chance. Um, the, um, yeah, when people think about nuclear weapons and stuff, they think about that as like the big thing, big threat in our arsenal. But there was actually a kind of obscure weapons project idea that was proposed a while ago, um, called Rods from God. And it's interesting. So the idea was, okay, first off, a nuclear weapon, when it detonates, the fusion or fission chain reaction creates a very massive sudden release of energy, just boom, this energy in a single location, and that goes out. That shockwave, shockwave, goes out, and um, that release of energy is what is the destructive part of the bomb, what if, the idea was what if you could release that much energy, or a similar amount of energy without any sort of explosion, just by kinetic energy,
Mhm.
Essentially, the idea was like drop a meteor on your opponent if you can aim something like that. So they wanted to design these gigantic, I think the material they were proposing was tungsten because it was super massive, super dense, and it would have a high survivability through the atmosphere to actually reach the target. But um, through, I mean, kinetic energy is, um, uh, one half mass times velocity squared. So, the mass, you get a big heavy rod, and the velocity, you drop it from orbit. You build these orbital satellites with these rods that you can release down aimed to a certain location and just boom. When it hits, when it impacts wherever, um, it releases this kinetic energy on impact, and that would have the same destructive potential as an explosive device with an equivalent, energy output. So, um, yeah,
Mhm.
they wanted to put these satellites up in orbit with these, loads of these rods and basically weaponize space. And, you don't need intercontinental ballistic missiles if you've got orbital satellite bombardment that can just, you know, hanging over everybody's head, the entire world has these
You-
satellites with these rods just going over all the time. I mean, right? This was in at the peak of the Cold War. So, we knew that Russia had ICBMs after Sputnik, right? They launched Sputnik. They basically take their warhead, what we knew to be their warhead, through espionage. We knew that load, that Sputnik represented was equivalent to their state-of-the-art um, nuclear warhead. And they just put a radio transmitter in there with some antennas and had it beeping, beep, 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 you know.
would
So
would meteors be like? Would that be something that like the U.S. would shoot down before it touches the ground? Right. That'd be
they're
the idea.
trying. They're trying,
Huh?
yeah. That's what there was a recent program, NASA called the DART program, deflection and something redirecting trajectory, DART, I think. I don't know. I'm kind of pulling that out of my ass, but I'm guessing probably, I think that's what I remember it being. Um, but they had a recent program. They sent a little spacecraft up, and they were able to redirect a meteor, or not a meteor, an asteroid. So they're looking at the big ones that, big enough that they can see them, obviously it has to be detectable. It has to be something big enough to be a planet killer. so to speak, which anything big enough for us to be able to see is probably going to be a planet killer, right? Um, so hold on, let me pull up a thing on the DART program.
Um, yeah. So basically, what I was the when I didn't look too much into it. Seen a few articles, watched a video of it, but they didn't show where it landed. But wouldn't that isn't that something that they seen before we even noticed?
We're trying to. That's a big concern. That's a big reason why NASA needs to be funded. Um, because um, if we can see anything before it gets here, um, or if we can see anything whose um, orbital trajectory, orbital mechanics would have gravitational mechanics would have it colliding with Earth, if we can redirect that even just the tiniest little bit, the further away we can detect it, the less we need to redirect it in order to get it to miss us. So we need asteroid spotting equipment, asteroid spotting satellites. We need NASA funding for this kind of stuff. It's important. But it's not always given, it's seen as, frivolous frivolous nerds looking at telescopes and building toy rockets to go play astronaut and whatnot. And there's a kernel of truth to that as well. I would be disingenuous to deny that, but that doesn't mean that the work isn't important too. But the DART mission, it was to test and demonstrate kinetic impactor technique for diverting dangerous asteroids. So the kinetic impactor technology, basically kind of the same general idea as the rods from God thing, kinetic impactor, right? Kinetic energy. They sent something and they smashed something, with weight and enough speed to slightly deflect a small moon orbiting a larger asteroid. The target Dimorphos was a small moon about 530 feet wide that was orbiting a larger asteroid, Didymos. So, yeah, November 24th, 2021, it was launched from Vandenberg and it impacted September 26, 2022 at 14,000 miles per hour. So yeah, the impact was successful, changing Dimorphos' orbital period around Didymos by 32 to 33 minutes, far exceeding the initial 4.2 minute goal. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so asteroid out there, small asteroid orbiting it, and they just deflected that moon orbiting the asteroid just enough to make it, take 30 minutes longer to finish one orbit around the bigger moon. And so that smaller moon, smaller asteroid would, a 530-foot wide meteor headed towards Earth would be a significant threat. A 70-ton astro meteorite like the one we were.
Hmm.
I wonder what size it was before it hit they say a 7-ton space rock crashed into Earth, but how big around was it before it hit? the atmosphere. I wonder how big, basically, how big it was compared to the thing that Dart hit, you know? Um, Hold on. How do I search for that? Um,
Oh man, yesterday was nice. They had, I think, four new people on the podcast. I don't know if you were paying attention, but it just caught me off guard. The ding dong comes on four times in a row.
6 feet, 1.8 meters before breaking apart. So yeah, sorry.
It's
Um,
okay.
yeah, so if NASA was able to successfully deflect a 530-foot asteroid, and this one that just made that fireball over Ohio was a 6 foot diameter asteroid, that's a pretty significant capability that NASA was able to develop and demonstrate there. But I mean,
That's like
it's a demonstration. It's not a, you know, fully developed technology. It's more of a proof of concept. Like, is this even possible for us to send something fast enough to hit and do that? So they were, yeah, it was successful beyond their expectations. But um, yeah, if a 6 foot diameter one is able to make it through the atmosphere and hit the ground, I wonder how much bigger it would need to be in order to hit the ground and um, cause, um, well, hit the ground destructively, I guess. I don't know. It's
that's
yeah.
basically like me falling through your roof. 6 foot asteroid. I mean, meteor, is it meteor, asteroid, comet? Because Angel left a comment here. He said a comet killed the dinos, but that's just a much larger meteor. Forgot to read that earlier. But yeah, that's what you were talking about. The
Yeah.
meteors, which was the dinosaurs.
Well, the comet's also large portion of it is made out of ice and stuff.
Oh
So,
wow.
um, yeah, they've got so much more there. Um, yeah, but that's a good point, Angel. That's a really good point. This different composition, comet and asteroid are yeah, slightly different.
What's the
Um,
difference?
the composition, the meteors are rocky, nickel, iron, cobalt, various rare earths, whereas comet is frozen, like ice and um, like dry ice, frozen CO2, like solidified CO2, um, other,
Yeah, gotcha. You didn't
you
gotta keep
know,
going.
it's yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah,
why the
just
comets have those tails. That's the outgassing of the material. It gets, you know, well, they have the two tails, but um, yeah, um,
um I did have 3D meat on the list. That was another one I want to talk to you about. And like,
Did me.
um, someone said that like the meat in the Lunchable isn't real, basically. Um, and I didn't look that up, but yeah, he was just saying that the meat is fake meat, and they give us the bad pieces of the meat. I think he said. I had a Lunchable, and he said those were the bad pieces of meat, or some shit like that. And I was just like, good to know. And I kept eating. But yeah. You ever
Um,
heard of? Go ahead.
yeah, I don't know. I think that um, we might be talking about mechanically separated meat,
What
maybe.
is that?
Um, I mean, they use a machine to get all of after they've removed all of the meat from the bones of whatever, they go and, you know, get a paste-like product, as the internet says over there, from um, removing the remnants that had been on the bones, and just getting the um, all it's all still edible. It's still, but it's just whatever remnants of the meat that they couldn't get off of the bones intact. Um, to just little chunks and stuff. That's why they form it into processed, um,
No.
like bologna and stuff. But I mean, they've been doing that for bologna was the thing before industrial mechanically processed meat was invented, and it was still, the remnants of the meat off of bones and stuff. They just had to do it by hand. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Just because a
Um,
machine does it doesn't mean it's suddenly big and scary and bad.
um, I got a tab open about 3D meat though. That's one I thought was interesting. I didn't know they were 3D printing meat until we talked about it yesterday, I think.
Mhm.
Have you seen the pictures? It's it's
Yeah,
it's
I mean, they can make it look kind of weird. Yeah, it does look kind of weird,
yeah.
but
Uh,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that was let's see if anybody watching has any thoughts on this. We were discussing last night. They have this technology to use what they call bio inks, and use um, these materials, amino acids and whatnot, to form um, basically what is equivalent to muscle tissue. Hold on, I gotta close it. Yeah, to form basically what is equivalent to muscle tissue, functionally, or yeah, physically equivalent to muscle tissue. But it's entirely derived from plant-based um, stuffs, right? Um, is it
yeah.
is it still vegan? Is 3D printed meat vegan? It's equivalent to meat in every way except that it was made in a lab, 3D printed, and the source materials used for the 3D printing process were entirely plant derived, but it's meat in every other way. Is it vegan?
Hmm.
What do you think, Pookie?
I'm looking at an article now,
Yeah,
and is it
method
vegan is
aims
a good
to
point.
mimic the texture, marbling, and taste of traditional meat without slaughtering livestock, offering sustainable alternative with reduced environmental impact, they say.
Right.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
this tab I opened here says, "Would you eat a 3D printed plant-based steak?" So
Would
yeah,
you?
I don't know. I can't just say I'll try stuff. Actually, I'd try it because I'd try anything once, but I got to look at that first because it does look interesting on the computer, but I'm sure it looks different or maybe
Gotta
better.
see
Or
it in person, right?
yeah, you got to see it in
Is
person.
is it still
Uh,
appealing when it's put in front of you? That's
that's what I want to
important.
know.
Yeah, because that Impossible meat, those Impossible Whoppers at Burger King, they were not, they did not taste just like meat. They were not. It's like the South Park episode that they had. Randy was like, "Oh, this tastes like shit." Yeah,
Um,
it
yeah,
was possible to tell.
I
Uh,
did not try the Impossible Burger at Burger King.
but
Uh, yeah,
so
I tried
there
it from.
is already in the state of Florida, they've already banned um uh lab grown meat, cultivated lab grown meat in the state of Florida to protect the state's cattle industry. The law makes it a
Those
second degree misdemeanor to produce or sell lab grown meat.
3D printed meat, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Yeah. Similar bans exist in Alabama, Arizona, and Tennessee. The purpose is to protect Florida's agricultural sector and ranchers from competition. This Governor DeSantis described it as a defense against a global elite's plan to force the world to eat meat grown in a petri dish.
Hmm.
Ooh, spooky.
They got something here
Legalization.
that
The
says
The cultivated meat producer Upside Foods filed a lawsuit against the ban, which a federal judge allowed to proceed in early 2025, denying the state's motion to dismiss. Okay, so there's a fight against it.
um, yeah, there's something here that says Israeli company Redefined Meat has struck a new partnership with its importer, Giraldi Meats, to drive European distribution of its new meat in steak cuts. So they're gonna have this
Israeli,
stuff.
Israeli company. That's interesting. I wonder if lab-grown meat is can be kosher or not.
I wonder,
I
does
guess
it bleed?
that's a different conversation. But
Does
that's,
lab grown meat bleed like meat? What does lab
I
grown
mean,
meat bleed
technically
like?
meat shouldn't be bleeding. The red juice coming out of the meat as you cook it is myoglobin from the muscle tissue. Um, it's not blood. So, but does it still, yeah, is there still the red juiciness is from a rare steak?
Yeah,
Steak.
the picture they have here pretty much looks like, yeah, red steak, and I just wonder if
Kind
it
of,
looks the same.
yeah, kind of funky marbling to it, but yeah, it looks kind of like a steak. Mm.
Uh, there's something here that says 3D printed vegan steaks look and feel like real meat. How
Indeed.
far are we away from true 3D printed meat? The kind that is identical to real meat on the molecular level, but doesn't come from an animal. Hmm. Any vitamin nutrition facts? Well, it's just, yeah, just helping our protein intake.
I
No,
mean, is this is one is interesting, potentially offers safer antibiotic-free meat production. That's kind of interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that. Less use of antibiotics. It's a, you know,
hmm.
Singapore was the first to approve cultivated meat. Some states have banned cultivated meat. So, two parts of the world going complete opposite directions. We'll see. We'll be able to see so exactly, what the outcome is. If it's
I
got,
think it could be good.
man, I mean,
It
it's
could be good.
interesting.
It could be
It's
good for us, but for people trying to make money off of like meat, it's messing them up. Saving the animals, I guess. All those not religions, but types of people who don't eat certain meats and don't kill the animal because of this, and you're killing this animal. You're There's all kinds of stuff I see, and I was just like, wow, that is a reason not to eat meat, I guess. But
this
to
is
print meat is an interesting thing because
Yeah, so it looks like
print a
there's
shoe.
sorry, I'm
I seen
sorry.
someone print a shoe, but
A shoe?
a shoe, a Jordan 1 shoe. It looked like the shoe, except the inside. Uh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I built a 3D printer for myself. I never finished the final tuning up and everything. I've got it over in the garage. So
Oh,
I might get it all up. It was a Delta printer, so it didn't have the moving bed and the back forth axis. It was like in a triangle, three vertical runners, and so it created a little, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but if you Google Delta 3D printer, hold on, let me see if that'll sure.
um,
Yeah, Delta 3D printers, that'll give you an idea of what the layout was that I built. Delta 3, yeah. Look at images of them. So they have the arms that are kind of pushed around and three vertical runners that are controlled. So
yeah, I still got this tab open with this meat. They're making ground meat as well from the 3D printing. That's interesting. Oh man,
yeah,
I might
so
have to try it.
there's two main types, it seems. There's some grown from animal cells. So those are actual, you know, lab grown fat and muscle cells. Um, they refer to as bioink, to layer and replicate the fibrous texture of traditional. But then there's also plant-based alternatives. So the animal cells, I would assume, when they're using animal cells, cultured animal cells, it would be actual fat, actual muscle. And in that
Mm.
case, I would assume it would be effectively. the same, right? Like
So,
it's the plant-based alternatives that I think would probably start to get a little unusual, and that's
yeah,
yeah,
there'll be competition on that market for sure. Um,
yeah. But well, a question in my mind, if somebody is a vegan on ethical terms, right? The
yeah,
the mistreatment of animals, factory farming, et cetera, et cetera. If they're offered, you know, a steak that was produced from, you know, cultured, fat and muscle tissues, um, developed from stem cells from an animal that was never harmed. Nothing, any of it ever had anything to do with factory farming, you know, completely ethical, entirely away from, separate from the entire food industry as we have known it to this point, then is there any actual like ethical objection to that anymore? Or would that break down their objection and would it then become, a decision of whether or not to just not eat plant or not eat muscle tissue, and
it can
strictly plant.
recreate muscle tissue.
Yeah. I mean, if it's, yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought experiment. It seems weird. They're blurring the lines between these things and the more extreme ends of the dietary options and opinions are kind of starting to seem a little less um, grounded. Um, yeah,
Okay.
a bit of crony capitalism though going on, passing laws to protect the cattle industry in a few states, including good old Florida. Uh, I would have I would have tried a 3D printed steak
I will too. I definitely
if
tried
it
3D
was,
printed steak. I just try
yeah,
it. I
yeah.
mean, unless it
I
messes
don't
me up.
know. Yeah, I would try both of them, I think. I expect I would
That's
probably actually like the animal cells version as opposed to the plant protein soys and peas to create
okay.
realistic steak-like textures, it says.
I got a question.
Mm,
So, is this stuff smell like meat, like
that's
raw?
the thing. I don't know.
They recreate a scent
It
of
might,
cooked
it
meat, raw
could.
meat,
Why
all
not?
that.
I don't see any reason it wouldn't. It's all the same stuff when it's all grown from animal cells, you know, muscle fibers grown from animal cells, then it's the same muscle and the same fat when it's fat cells grown from, cultured from those animals cells, right?
Mm,
Just extract a little sample, stem cell sample, differentiate them and whatnot, and grow it out. Easy peasy. I mean, not really easy peasy, but um, you
I
know,
got a surprise for the guest out there, people
uh,
out there watching. Kevin says he is on the way.
oh good.
If you're wondering why that's news, because it's just me and Mark right now. But yeah, we got so much more to talk about with Kevin. Open some stuff up to him and see what he says. I want to see what he thinks about the meteor, and he was near it, so that might I'm gonna ask him if he heard it. I'm just see a picture or anything, because that is more interesting from someone who actually might have seen it with their own eyes, but we don't know what he's seen at this point. But yeah, Kevin's on the way, you guys. Press that like button, subscribe, thumbs up, and press the little bell to be reminded when we go live. There we go. I said it in one swoop. Um, yeah, smash that like button.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Is
In the meantime, I don't know, the lava lamp thing, you want me to do the show and tell with brought up?
oh yeah, let's look at these lava lamps because I don't
uh,
know much about lava lamps and
I was
this.
telling Pookie on the before we started that I have a project I plan to work on later for some of my lava lamps. The one in the background, anybody who pays attention to the lava lamps, this one here, this globe is not normally the blue with the yellow wax. This one is normally all the way at the far end. It never does anything. It's old and it just, I don't know. I think I need to just do fully replace all of the everything. But the globe there is normally the purple liquid yellow wax, which is, my favorite color combination. But the liquid is extremely cloudy. I have two of these, one in a small 20 ounce, one in the big 52-ounce globe. So I plan to try to fix that. I don't know if you can see here. This is the purple. You see
Is that
my
hot?
huh?
Is
No,
that hot?
this I cooled down. This is room temperature. It's actually a
Oh,
little cooler than room temperature. But yeah, wax all the way down at the bottom, the little coil and stuff. That's just
oh,
that coil, it works to break the surface tension of the wax when it reaches all the way down at the bottom. Some people think that coil is there to heat up the wax, but all of the heat comes from the light bulb at the bottom underneath it. The wax normally, when it gets to the bottom there, if that coil wasn't there, it would just be kind of a glob. It wouldn't all um, kind of collect down at the bottom nicely um, because of the physics of the surface tension there. That's a whole big physics lesson, but you know,
it looks like
suffice it
orange
to say
juice that
that,
turned into Jello.
huh?
You ever seen orange puree? That's
Yeah.
what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. I mean, it's mostly paraffin wax. There's some other stuff in it to change the density a bit. But I don't know, you can see a little bit, you can see behind it through it a little bit, but you can't see my face. As opposed to over here, this globe is from the 90s. The other one is from the early 2000, so this one is older than it, but this one is, you know, orange with white wax at the bottom, and you can see my face through it there, right?
Yeah,
You can see me looking at the camera through the.
yeah, I can see your face definitely.
So this is how clear the wax is supposed to be with the color in it. So the goal is to have um, this level of clarity, but with the purple color. And another little trick to test that, to measure that, is um the whack, like the light. If you can shine a light and see the whole beam through the sign, that means that the wax is cloudy. There's stuff suspended in the wax that is diffusing it. If I take the orange one over here and do it, I mean,
Mm.
that's just that's just the glass shining there. The liquid itself is not showing the beam there. So yeah. So I've got that little 20 ounce, and then this is the globe that normally sits in the center there. And you can see same thing
Why is it
there.
not sitting in the center today?
Because I need it nice and cool for the project this
Uh,
afternoon.
um,
I'm gonna be
are
cleaning them up,
those
hopefully filtering them out. So
are
what
those
I
expensive?
um this one, the purple with yellow, it came with this base and cap, black base. Those are on Amazon right now for like 60 bucks, I think. Um, the base in the center has those little like pinhole, little starry pinhole things, and it's kind of a slightly goldish hue to it. They don't make those. Um, those were those were made back in 20, uh, like the late 20 teens. So those are technically collector's items. Um, they don't really have a price. It's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay, and I'm not willing to sell it. There's not any of them on eBay right now, so how much is it worth? It's, I don't know. But you could probably find them for a couple $100. That but that one comes normally with this globe here, the kind of orangey, goldish, amber liquid with the kind of ruby red wax. The camera isn't showing the colors accurately, but it's a little better today than normal. So yeah, this I'll try to
Yeah,
wrap this up. Hey Kevin, I
It's
love
good to
that
see you.
shirt. I love that
Yeah,
shirt. That's
it's
really cool.
getting nicer. It's very, very good. Sporty. Uh,
I got two questions for you on posts that we've already passed. We've already talked about the meteor, and we've already talked about lab-grown meat. The thing about the meteor is we're not near it, but you are.
Give
mhm.
me two. I want to finish mine. I'm almost done. So the 20-ounce globe
Did
with the
you hear this
cloudiness.
meteor?
I did not. It's just I didn't feel it or see it. It's just one of those split second things that go through the air. So either you're
They
looking
said
in the
it was
air or
going.
not.
They said it was going 40,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, and you can't match that. You can't be looking in the sky when something's going
I seen a
high sped.
rocket.
Oh, that's really friggin' fast. I was
Yeah, it was
indoors. I
really
spend
fast.
most of my time indoors, and but
Well,
I probably would have might have been able to see it because there's a lot of um, buildings obviously around. So, but maybe, yeah, probably I would have been able to see it.
um, Yeah, a lot of people were saying they heard it and felt it and stuff like that. But one thing I was gonna say is, oh damn it, I had something to ask Mark. Uh, oh no, I was gonna say Mark told me yesterday to go look at the rocket when it went live. And that's the first time I ever seen a rocket being launched. Well, actually, I didn't see it get launched. I seen it already in the sky. Um, and yeah, he was like talking about Vandenberg. I knew I had heard of it at once point in time, and it was here. It's like southwest of me. Uh, so yeah, when I went outside to go see the launch or whatever, and he was like, "You should see it hitting the horizon." He said you should see it right over the horizon. So I'm like looking over the houses as high as I can see, like looking, waiting for it to go up and see it. And then I'm like, "All right, mom, we don't see it." And as soon as we're going in, I looked up and it was already above me. And by then it was just like moving really fast. And I was like, wow, never even seen anything like it or paid attention that much to the sky for that fact. Um, yeah, never looked up for that long in a long time. Oh, yeah, Mark, I see the lava lamps. Oh, and yeah, another thing was you said that the meteor broke the speed of sound. How fast is the speed of sound? I was going to ask you for something to
Well,
break the speed of sound.
that depends on the medium that you are talking about. The speed of sound, um, yeah, hold on.
Yeah, when I was
I should
talking about the
know this
meteor.
off the top of my head. I think it's 700 something miles per hour. I think when you're talking about speed of sound at atmospheric pressure at sea level, but it changes depending on the altitude because the density of the atmosphere changes the speed at which um, sound waves can propagate through the atmosphere. And sound travels differently in water. The speed of sound is higher in water because a lot of people um, who are not scientists don't realize this, but gases and liquids are both treated in um, physics as what they call fluids. They both behave according to the same governing equations. Um, so, yeah.
Is
Um,
that why when they say scream from the top of the mountains, like, or if you ever seen somebody on a video scream from the top of the mountains, like echoes through the valley? Is that why it's like that?
I think that's just poetic language, but
Hmm.
um, there might be something to it. It's at the top of, I don't know.
I think
No,
But
that
no,
was
I
if
just
just
something,
some.
if like it, when, yeah, sorry, never mind.
the
Yeah,
term screaming at the top of the mountains.
probably just some crazy like goat hoarder. I'm assuming.
Well,
Uh,
it could be an observation of acoustics also, the sound propagation, from a higher altitude is audible through a lower valley, kind of like amphitheater sort of effect. Um, but looked it up here, 761 miles per hour was the speed of sound, approximate speed of sound
what if I
in
scream?
at sea level. Then that scream would move forth from your mouth at 761 miles per hour.
Oh, so every sound that is that much? Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
unless um you're like shooting bullets out of your mouth.
but if I
But
like run and get
interesting side note, ballistics.
What if I
ballistic
lunge
side note.
into it?
Um, hold on.
Give it a little boost.
Drop the filter. Um, a lot of people don't appreciate this. Non-firearm fans don't appreciate this. A lot of the most of the uh, firearm cartridges that are out there that have been developed are supersonic rounds. So when you shoot the gun, you pull the trigger, there's the bang, the sound of the gun itself, the muzzle report, and then the bullet moving forward. Like you and I spoke about, Pookie, earlier, the bullet is moving at a supersonic speed. So the bullet is also creating its own shockwave as it moves forward. And the speed of the bullet being, however many times the speed of sound will create that cone moving forward at that, with that angle at however fast it's moving. So that's part of why a lot of times there's a lot of confusion at crime scenes over the direction that shooting had taken place because you hear the muzzle report from one direction, and then you hear a crack of the bullet traveling, down as it goes along. And then those sounds reflect off of other surfaces and stuff. So the physics of acoustics is fascinating. What
Um,
falling out of my chair
we
here.
actually just had James join. Hey,
Hey,
James. Top of the morning. Thanks for watching. Press that like button. Press that little bell so you can get a ding every time we go live. With or without Kevin? No, I'm just kidding. Another
Slept.
conversation. Another conversation we had before you got here was lab printed meat. Um, I
can
mean,
I
3D printed meat. Um, would you try that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking
I
at
mean,
pictures of it.
I don't see why not. That
we had
seems
the
to be the direction we're going, right?
I don't know.
Um,
Actually, Florida,
No.
they banned it, so
Yeah.
it's not the direction they're going. Uh,
Yes.
well,
Lab grown
why would they do that?
lab grown and cultured meat is illegal in the state of Florida. Governor, good old Governor Ron,
I know.
Big Daddy Ron, um, says he has done this to protect the state's cattle industry.
Exactly. I knew. I knew that was the first thing I thought to protect cattle.
Yes,
money.
Yeah.
the
It
farmers,
all comes
the
down to money.
farmers. But I mean, the farmers are, you know, farming is important. I don't know. I don't think that 3D printed meat is entirely the direction that the future has to head. And yeah, I don't know.
I've said that about a lot of things. I
Yeah.
don't think this is the future, but I don't think we can. I don't think uh, uh harvesting the cows and other animals, it's a heavy burden on the earth, and it's just easier to cut to the chase and grow the meat as opposed to, you know, and
Funny question.
it's a vicious business, uh, cattling and the slaughtering. It's disgusting. Where does all that meat? Where does all that once you harvest the meat, where does all the bones and viscera and guts, where does all that go?
Um,
I mean, a lot of
funny
the
question.
viscera goes to cat food, the bones, become bone meal fertilizer, which is exceptionally important in a lot of agriculture. Um, I mean, a lot of these things, I mean, yeah, when we're talking, I mean, if we're talking about pig, yeah, the whole pig is used. There's nothing left that is not like
So
genuinely useful.
when they clear off
Um,
the grading, the killing grading, and they spray it down, where does that water go? Does it go into an energy drink or something?
I don't know.
What you want some?
Yeah, maybe a hog infused
But
energy drink. No, I'm
Hogwash?
just saying. Yeah, no,
um,
that's good. I like that hogwash. Yeah. No, I'm just saying
wouldn't
it
it
goes in. It goes back into our public water, and you know, it goes
Does
back
it
into
always
the
though
local.
necessarily? Does it? I mean, a lot of these processing facilities are not located in residential areas where they are contaminating municipal drinking water. I think that that's a little I don't want to make any accusations, but that sounds a little close to fear mongering. I
wouldn't it
don't
be
think that a
easier
lot
just
of
to
these
My point was they are contaminating water, and water
are they
is
though. I mean, there's a lot of actual like horticultural value to a lot of the stuff left in that. And if when these facilities are located out in agricultural areas and it seeps down into groundwater area in these agricultural areas, that's not a net negative.
um question? Um, wouldn't it just be easier to 3D print the cow?
that's basically what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, you gotta generate all of the electricity that it takes to run those facilities for those 3D printers and all of those computers and everything. And is
Uh,
that environmental footprint necessarily less than the one left by the cow? I don't think that it's such an easy question at face value. A lot of people like to ignore the fact that, those 3D printers run on stuff and it's not necessarily easy to do. And again, it always kind of comes back to the power grid and the massive increasing exponential increase in demand in the power grid. Where's that energy coming from? And that's we get into issues there.
But
So
it seems to be the same thing on the other side with factory farms and for factory slaughterhouses. They also use incredible energy. They also use
factory
to
slaughterhouses, not really.
yes,
They were the farms over there. They have, I mean,
air pollution. Factory farms are a major source of ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, and particle matter. These operations are responsible for about 70% of US ammonia emissions.
mm.
okay,
This is from
what was
PBS.
okay. But what were PBS's sources on that information?
PBS.
Right, but where did PBS is the outlet? Where did who did the studies that generated that data for them? PBS did not go measuring ammonia.
PBS is a well-established
I know, but
journalistic.
I mean, okay, at least then give me the article name so I can go and look it up myself for you. Like, you should have been able to scroll down and
Well,
find
I'm
the
looking at it
name
right
of,
now.
okay,
Uh,
well, who did this study then? Was it the USDA?
okay. Certainly wouldn't be the USDA because
Well,
they're bought over. Stanford Woods, World Animal Protection. Well, I know they might be a little. Well,
what's the name of the PBS article at least?
this is several articles.
Okay, well, what's the
Oh,
name of one of them, please?
Okay. Sentient climate and pollution
S-
from
Sentient,
that's the name of the website, sentientmedia.org. Why is eating meat bad for the
sentientmedia.org.
environment? Yeah.
Okay, and what's the article then? I thought you said it was
I will put it
PBS.
down here in the chat.
mm.
Oh, did I?
What what
Okay.
can and cannot be 3D printed? Now that I'm thinking, I thought that I'm first now hearing about this 3D printed food. Um, they can't do liquids, can they?
Well, they'll
Why
solidify.
would you need to? I mean,
Would they be able to do a water bottle
I'm,
You could do, you can 3D print anything pretty much.
why would you
and
Uh,
like
need to
make it
3D
see
print
through?
water? You just pour it into a cup.
I'm talking about a water bottle. Would it be able to make the bottle and see through?
Not at a lower cost than just, you know, making the bottle in the normal way.
yeah,
Mm.
that's true. But yeah,
Uh,
as to the abilities of uh, 3D printers, they are quite extraordinary. They use them on space stations
Where was
for,
the,
yeah,
we didn't get to the actual link or any article from Sentient Media News that, which is not the same as PBS.
yeah, I know, but that was part of the study of PBS,
But
and I
that's
can't. It's not
where,
going through the chat, but
what was the, just say the name of the article that you're looking at or one of the articles, because otherwise I'm gonna just say that doesn't sound like you have a source.
the
It's
name of the article is "Why Eating Meat is Bad for the Environment and Climate Change." Explained.
okay.
Uh, this is an article from Monday, May 20th, 2024. Words by Seth Milstein.
Med time. Be right back. I got to take my meds. I am still here.
And then you can
Uh,
bother him for him. You can bother Milstein for his sources.
Milstein. Well, We need to avoid dead air, so I guess I'll read this article for you. It says it can be tempting to fall prey to dire climate change warnings and imagine that our planet is doomed. But it's important to keep what the research shows in mind. The food we eat is an area where even individuals can make a difference. Meat is a deeply beloved food around the world and a regular part of millions, billions of people's lives, or diets, millions of people, and a regular part of billions of people's diets. There we go.
Yeah.
But it comes with a steep cost. Our appetite for meat is bad for the environment and climate change, responsible for between 11 and just under 20% of greenhouse gas emissions and a constant drain on our planet's water and land reserves. Climate models suggest that in order to limit global warming, we're going to have to seriously rethink our relationship to meat. And the first step to doing that is understanding exactly how the meat industry works and how it's impacting the environment. Over the last 50 years, meat has become significantly more popular. Between 1961 and 2021, the average person's yearly meat consumption jumped from approximately 50 pounds a year to 94 pounds a year. Although the rise took place all around the world, it is more pronounced in high and middle income countries, even though the poorest countries also saw a slight increase in per capita meat consumption. It's probably no surprise then that the meat industry is massive, really, literally. Just a quick comment here though. If this is looking, those are comments about rising globally, taking place all over the world, 50 to 94 per capita globally, more pronounced in high and middle income countries. That, none of that necessarily says anything specifically about the United States, but the way that they're saying it is implying that the United States is eating much, much, much more meat per year than it had been back in 1961. And that's a little dishonest. This is blatantly left-leaning. This is propaganda in the opposite direction of, yeah.
Now,
I,
James, take your pills. I said it's med time, and James said if you haven't said that, I would have forgotten to take mine. Take your pills. Everybody out there watching, make sure you take your meds. Angel said he should 3D print all of us. Nice. Come visit me. Are you gonna
okay.
3D print him with epilepsy? That'd be nice. Make a me without epilepsy. Or is my
It's
3D printer
probably
gonna?
no surprise then that the meat industry is massive, literally. Half of all habitable land on Earth is used for agriculture. Two-thirds of that land is used for livestock grazing, while the other third goes to crop production. But only half of those crops end up in human mouths. The rest is used either for manufacturing purposes or far more frequently to feed livestock. Leaves out
what's
how important that grazing land is for pollinators. The bee population is dropping, and yeah.
I've been always talking about the extinction rate on the planet, so it should
uh,
be alarming to people. Maybe it's
Um,
part of because of this food to feed the food. A
well,
huge.
no, but I mean, the fact that cattle are grazing and eating it doesn't mean that it's not getting, I mean, I don't know.
Smash that
It's
like
it
button.
doesn't mean it's useless for pollinators and the rest of the ecosystem around it. But
Okay, but the
in
point is the
totality, if
population
we
is
take
growing.
livestock crops into account, a whopping 80% of all agricultural land on Earth, around 50 million square miles, is used to support livestock grazing, either directly or indirectly.
Mm. Press that thumbs up if you're watching. Well, we got 5 people watching. Not 5 thumbs up though.
So
Okay.
I mean,
Our appetite for meat comes at a steep cost. We're not talking about the rising price of cheeseburgers. The meat industry takes a serious toll on the environment in a number of ways. Cheap and abundant protein has fed many humans, but also left our planet in significantly worse shape. To begin with, meat is one of the biggest drivers of deforestation or the clearing of forested land. Over the last 10,000 years, around one third of the planet's forests have been destroyed. Around 75% of tropical deforestation is caused by agriculture, which includes clearing land to grow crops like soy and corn to feed animals and also land to raise farm animals. Yeah,
Mm.
all that tropical deforestation happening in the United States. Such a shame. That's not, that's, yeah. Um, Deforestation has a number of disastrous environmental impacts. Trees capture and store massive amounts of CO2 in the air, which is important because CO2 is one of the most harmful greenhouse gases. When those trees are cut or burned down, that CO2 released back into the atmosphere. That's one of the fundamental ways eating meat contributes to global warming. In addition, deforestation destroys the habitats that millions of species rely on. This reduces biodiversity, which is necessary for our planet's ecosystems to thrive, with some of the destruction known to wipe out entire species. A 2021 study found that in the Amazon alone, over 10,000 plant and animal species are at risk of extinction from deforestation. Of course,
Mm.
deforestation is only part of the equation. The overwhelming majority of meat is produced on factory farms, many of which are on previously forested land. And factory farms are terrible for the environment in a whole host of ways as well. It's estimated that somewhere between 11 and 19% of global greenhouse emissions come from livestock. That includes emissions that come directly from the animals, such as methane in cow burps and nitrous oxide in pig and chicken manure, as well as land use and small, as well as land use and smaller sources like the emissions from food transport or other equipment and facility farms use in their operations. Factory farms are also one of the primary sources of water pollution because synthetic fertilizer, manure, pesticides, and other farm byproducts often end up flowing into nearby waterways. This pollution can cause harmful algae blooms, which can poison animals and humans alike. In 2014, an algae bloom in Ohio resulted in 400,000 people losing their access to clean drinking water for 3 days.
Wow.
The way we farm is also responsible for soil erosion, which makes it more difficult to effectively grow crops. According to United Nations researchers, soil erosion could cause a loss of 75 billion tons of soils by the year 2050. The meat and dairy industries also extracts a massive amount of water to raise farm animals. Producing just 1 pound of beef requires 2,400 gallons of water, for instance.
Wow.
That's an interesting number. Um, Despite the meat industry's deleterious effects on the planet, its public relations campaigns have been hard at work to ensure we keep eating far more than a sustainable diet recommends. Here are some of the industry's favorite myths and the facts. Even though leading environmental organizations say meat reduction is necessary for a sustainable diet, the meat industry has worked hard to promote the myth that humans need to eat meat, but this simply isn't true. Study after study has shown that Americans actually eat far more protein than we need. If anything, most of us don't get enough fiber from fruits and vegetables. What's more, meat is not the only complete protein, nor is it the only way to get enough vitamin B12. Shout out to Nature's Made.
Right.
Or the only way to get sufficient iron. Ultimately, no matter how you slice it, meat just isn't a necessary part of a healthy diet. Okay. Myth number two, soy is bad. Others defend meat consumption by arguing that soy is also terrible for the environment, but that partial truth is misleading. While it's true that soy farm is a significant driver of deforestation, more than three-quarters of all soy produced worldwide is used to feed farm animals in order to produce meat and dairy. And while soy certainly requires a lot of water to farm it, it requires exceptionally less than dairy or meat. Um, Veg forward diet. Common refrain is that advocating for vegan and vegetarian class or diets is classist because these diets are more expensive and less accessible than eating cheap meat. And there's some truth to this. Produce is the cornerstone of a healthy vegan diet, and in some lower income communities, access to fresh fruits and vegetables is severely limited. On top of that, preparing the whole foods like legumes and vegetables can take more time and practice, which can feel daunting at the end of a grueling workday. Still, there is good news. On average, whole food vegan diets are around one-third cheaper than average meat-based one, a 2023 Oxford study found. And there are many community-based efforts to make the choice to eat more plants of a far more accessible option. Okay, good. This is getting tedious. The world continues to experience record-breaking heat that is ravaging crops, animals, and people. While many things are responsible for bringing us to this point, it's impossible to ignore the outsized role meat production has played in the massive action opportunity available to us just by eating a little less meat and a little more plants. Our current levels of meat consumption simply aren't sustainable, and a significant reduction, along with many other changes in policy and clean energy, uh, is necessary to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. Humans as a species don't need to eat meat to be healthy, but even if we do, we certainly don't need to eat it at the rates we currently are. Look, it's easier than ever to eat a more plant-rich diet, be it vegetarian, vegan, flexitarian, or something in between. Oh God, that is just tedious.
Yeah.
Okay. I opened every single link that he cited in that. I will read them and come back with an opinion.
You gonna read them
Positive.
now?
Huh?
You gonna read them now?
No, God, no. That was tedious enough just reading this out loud for honestly, if I were watching this live stream, I would have tuned
Oh
out
yeah,
during
I
the
would have turned this off. But so any further conclusions on the meat industry? And what we
Got
have
a comment that
objectively.
says, there's a comment from James. It says, I'll gladly talk to this person about dietary restrictions.
this
Hmm.
person. Which
I
person?
think you were
This
talking when that popped up. Yeah.
this person?
Yeah,
I
which
don't
person?
think whoever you were talking about is who he's talking about, I'm assuming.
Oh,
Uh,
The
that
writer
person?
or
Seth Milstein, explainer,
yeah.
climate, food, little op-ed piece. That was not a 7-minute read. That was a lie.
oh,
Oh,
that was a lie?
huh?
A lie, you say?
Yeah, up at the top it says 7-minute read, that the
Oh,
article
okay,
is a
yeah.
7-minute read. That was a lie. That was not 7 minutes. If it was 7 minutes, then God, it was horrible.
Certainly felt longer than that.
Yeah.
When
Maybe I'm just a slow reader. I don't know.
uh,
I guess I did pause to make little faces.
when
Uh,
when you said that we don't need meat, I believe this is James. He said 15 days is my longest without having solid food. It's not my favorite time. That's a long time to go without a solid. Well, there was actually this time that I had this thing feeding me, and I didn't eat solid food either. It was like a tube that went in my nose and it went down my throat, and they were feeding me and not solid food. It sucked. It sucked to get that thing put in. Um, but yeah, but that was because I couldn't eat solid food. It wasn't by choice. I didn't have a choice.
So the only time you haven't had meat or anything is when you've been medically incapacitated.
Basically, um,
Ooh, not to laugh or anything. It's just, ugh.
yeah, it's
I've gone several weeks without eating meat. I mean, yeah.
yeah. I stopped eating meat at one point. I mean, stopped eating red meat at one point. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not hard to stop. Is it hard to stop meat, you guys out there? Everyone out there, let me
Um,
know. Is it that hard?
yes, it actually
Is it
is.
just
I would say it is. I'm not
pick the cow?
because they don't make it easy. Because yeah, cooking is a skill you have to learn,
Pick the
and
cow.
it just as opposed to just throwing on a slab of meat or you know processed food, and that's what a lot of people are just eating. And yeah, that's a lot easier. And most Americans are just hardworking people who, at the end of the day, and and when I cook these vegan meals, um, they, they're not that easy to make. Um, any cooking is not that easy, but especially I got my dinner from last night. It's bok choy with kidney beans and rice. So that's good, and it's left over, so I'm gonna eat that later. And but it is work, and you have to get into the uh, routine of it.
Hmm. Yeah. Um,
And
go ahead, because
yeah, I
I
mean,
was.
it's just, I mean, I think there's plenty of evidence to support we need less meat consumption. I'm not saying get rid of all the meat or whatever. Just tune it down a little. America's obese enough, and we don't need to be. Oh, okay, this is awfully disturbing. Those you've seen those pictures of old men, and they're like ripped and stuff, and they're taking. They say
No.
I eat like 40 milligrams of protein a day. And you don't need that much protein. You really don't. That is a fact I know. Protein is
Um,
not the key to health.
we got a comment here from James. It says, I had a feeding tube going down my nose, a backpack with a nutritional liquid. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain is what I had to wear. I was in the hospital, so there was just IV, and there was a bag of, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't clear liquid. Um, I forgot in particular, but yeah, it was just going down my nose, and whatever they said they could feed me, I couldn't eat solids. So yeah. Another thing we had was, Kevin, you said that cryptocurrency is a bust, and you said it's only for drug dealers and billionaires, and you said the Trump coin wasn't worth it. Please,
Well,
without
I would not put a lot of money into it. I mean, you can maybe get lucky if you cash out quick on something, but yes, I think essentially it is. I mean, who made the most money off these cash out schemes? It's the people who started them, and it seems very suspicious. You know, you can start a coin and then move. It just seems like a money washing thing. First of all, yeah, I mean that's how they got Al Capone with his taxes. And now you can never catch any drug lords with ever again. There's no regulation on this method of currency at all. No regulation. So that's a huge problem for the people who put their money into this and invest in it. And I think it's going to make them money over time. So that's my concern. Uh, it's just,
hey, James commented again, and he was talking about the fluid. I was talking about the bag of food liquid. Keep going, Kevin. Um, yeah, Mark was saying that something about drug dealers, something about acid on paper or something like that. I can't
Oh,
remember.
no, I mean, like, I don't know to what extent. I think that, I mean, well, the Silk Road got shut down, so I don't know to what extent the dark web markets have shifted over to something else, but there's no way that they could have like completely removed them. So I was assuming when you were saying, it's a something for drug dealers that you were referring to like the dark web markets where, it's kind of like a free for all, like an Etsy of drug dealers. You can go and order, with the onion router, go to access a website and find a guy who and just buy, 10 sheets of acid, 1,000 hits each, and send
well,
him the Bitcoin payment and receive in the mail something that
it's
looks
connected
like
to that.
any normal legal envelope, you know?
I mean, let's say you go on the dark web, which is untraceable for the most part, um,
For
and
the most part.
you buy weapons or child porn or anything illicit, whatever, and then they say, how are we going to trace this money? You go on the dark web. If you gave someone sorry about that. If you gave someone a Venmo account, traceable. Anything with an account is traceable, but Bitcoin is not, or crypto is not traceable.
Some,
They send
to
me
some
this thing
degree,
that tells me to pay
there
taxes.
were Bitcoin tumblers that helped to there was to a certain degree some were the because the blockchain was public, so some people were able to figure out ways to kind of track payments to you needed to know who owned the wallet, but if you other than that, but if they were able to identify a wallet, they could figure out if it was getting money in and out and stuff. But send it through a tumbler, and it's kind of like, money launderer for Bitcoin and stuff. You send it in, and it just mixes them up between a whole bunch of different Bitcoin wallets and then sends you out something that's just completely different, but the same value, same number, denomination or whatever and stuff. So there's
Okay.
tools for everything, basically.
Okay, so
But I'm not up to date on the latest and greatest of all of dark web, whatnot, and stuff. I never really dove into it that deep in the first place.
Um, when I have Bitcoin, I get like percentages of it because with Cash App, I can't afford a full Bitcoin, but you can invest in it. Um, Bitcoin actually sent me a paper to file taxes for that partial bit of Bitcoin that I own. Um, yeah.
all right,
Um,
so you're right about the IP addresses being traced to wallets. Um, well, that's according to Bitcoin.org. Um, I'm more concerned about, oh, I
But
don't know
I
about
mean,
that.
there are other coins too, right? Like, is
Yeah, there's
right.
I'm like
Ethereum still a thing? Or
there's
Huh?
thousands and thousands of these. So you can literally invent a coin,
yeah,
uh,
Doge was
sell
a
someone, and then
Doge
drop
was
it.
a coin before it was a government agency.
You
They made the Doge coin with this
and
little
Okay.
face of this little Ibu Shiba dog making his eyes looking back.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
I
mean,
got
that's
this
how
right
like
here. I got
what you
something.
got.
Everybody out there watching, smash that like button and let me know if you would like us to make an in season coin.
Oh
Mm,
God, no,
We're gonna create a cryptocurrency market.
don't want to do any sort of
mm.
I
shenanigans,
don't know why.
financial shenanigans. But on a slightly tangential note, I have an article here um, that I read. It's a lot shorter than the other one, but I don't think I want to read the whole thing. But the synopsis is essentially there was a group of researchers who had an AI agent that they were working with and working on training, and they had it in this little contained sandbox area thing for it to play in so that it was like not, connected to whatever else. And they found at some point in all of this that this um, AI agent had created backdoors in the AI architecture or in the IT infrastructure, got its way out of that little sandbox that it was in and was mining Bitcoin. seemingly of its own volition. It was, it went out and was dedicating a portion of its own processing power. It was using that company's servers, all of those, all of that computing power that they talk about putting into all of these AI agents. It's the same sort of
Is that
computing
is that
power
even
that
possible to get
it
to
shouldn't have
for
been.
a program to escape a sandbox?
It shouldn't have been, but it happened. It did. I'll drop a link. The article came from Live Science, so I think they have a high level of credibility. Um,
What
No, this
I'll
was
what does
actually I I
what
was thinking
does
of
Bitcoin
uh
mining consist of?
just doing a whole bunch of math for the blockchain, basically just devoting a portion of computing power to sustaining the blockchain that keeps the whole thing running in a nutshell,
Um,
I think. Is that right, Kevin?
well, there was an article I
yeah.
read that said um, they thought that this place was growing marijuana basically, and when the feds went in, they weren't growing marijuana. I think their rates of electricity, their how much electricity they were using went up because they were mining Bitcoin. The
Yeah.
cops went in there, like Europe, and they went in. There was like 60 computers and yeah, dim lights, and they're mining Bitcoin. Like, is there a person that sits there and does that? Um,
No. No,
because
you
I
don't.
think
AI also makes horrifying mistakes, like with facial recognition. They arrest people. They think it's or biometrics. It's not very good. There's a woman in prison because they think I don't have the article, I don't have the source, but she was arrested because and served a 6 month term because AI pinched her as the criminal, and she had no.
Over in Germany, you said?
No,
Or
I think it was the United States, or I don't. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, she was in prison. I'll
that's
look that up.
got a comment there.
I know that
One
China
comment that
does a
says,
lot with that. They use a lot of facial recognition and AI, and it's everywhere over there. It's like pervasive. They're living in this sort of AI dystopia that people talk about in fearmonger over here. They've got that social credit system, and you got to be a good little Chinese Communist Party member, um, toe the line and whatnot. And they facial recognition. They watch you everywhere. If you make a mistake, if you do something, tiny little infraction, they knock you down, and you can be denied like a lease for an apartment if your social credit score is too low and stuff. It's not,
Wow.
it's like the
Isn't that how it
financial,
is here?
well, I mean, financial credit score, yeah, but that's not just the finance. They could have a perfectly good financial record over there, but because of certain social actions, opinions, whatever, if you um, dislike, act against the Communist Party and stuff, they can, I don't, let me, let's, re
So it's more of an uprising. Just don't, shut your mouth and do what I say. So, and if you do say anything, you're not going to make it, you know. They do allow certain things in China, but
yeah,
not much. But like enough to keep them happy. They got video games and movies, but I guess you'll lose some of those privileges if you speak up.
mm,
This is what I'm assuming.
well,
yeah,
I mean, Yeah, the Google AI says it's massive AI, massive data-driven initiative designed to assess the trustworthiness of individuals, businesses, and organizations by aggregating financial, administrative, and social data, rewards compliance, and punishes actions deemed undesirable, ranging from financial fraud to social infractions like jaywalking, everything in between. And what is deemed undesirable is solely at the discretion of the Chinese Communist Party and can change at any time without any notice. Um, but you're expected to behave along those rules regardless. And you're being tracked by how well you obey them. Um, it's it's yeah.
No, I'm not going to
Purposes
agree
for
with China on anything, but there's a
yeah.
lot of, well, let's say, quality of life issues. And you think we've improved on those in Philadelphia, and by putting speed cameras on the fastest roads, we've uh, declined deaths, traffic deaths, pedestrian deaths, and but so those are incentives to make people stop driving 100 miles an hour on a boulevard. So, I
Mhm.
mean, as far as the Chinese government goes, yeah, do you think just this blanket uh, terror, do you think it
They're
incentivizes
using that
them?
same. They're using the same recognition features here.
Yeah, I
We
was
actually got
just
a comment
thinking.
that just popped up, and the comment says, "I found out last week that they had started using facial recognition at Disneyland."
Yeah,
Eesh.
around here I mean they track license plates. So, people driving around in a lot of cases, license plate tracking is as good as facial recognition, essentially. Somebody's car goes with them everywhere they do, or, technically it's the other way around. But, for our intents and purposes, we're tracking the car, so that's what, um, they can see everywhere somebody goes and exactly how fast they went by just timing how, the distance between that picture of their license plate and that picture of their license plate. So yeah, not only where you go, but how fast just by pictures of, what seems like innocuous little cameras.
Do you guys get
How
carded
innocuous
at
are
like
they?
weird places?
Do what?
Do you
Come
get
again?
carded at weird places?
I do not. I haven't got
I went
carded in a while.
I went
Wait, I got
bowling.
carded at the dispensary. That's about it. You need your ID to go in. Other than
Like,
that, there's nowhere else that I've been where they just be like, "Let me see your ID." The
Yeah.
dispensary, they're like, "Let me
Pharmacy,
see your
doctor.
very
ID."
very
Got to get an
random
ID
places.
at the door.
And okay, so there was I wanted to go bowling. So and the person, it's this big fun center. I just wanted to play a few frames of games of bowling. And so the woman waves the metal wand up and down me, takes my ID, and this is not. I don't want to get into a gun thing. It's just I think this is the stupidest thing ever. Why are you taking my ID and metal? If I had a gun, I would just kill you, you know. But and like little things like that just piss me off. And yeah, we were talking about the uh, following people or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Everybody watching, press that like button, press subscribe, a little thumbs up, and the bell if you want a notification when we
whole
go live.
Big
Uh,
Brother state.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the surveillance state direction that a lot of stuff is heading. But I mean, technically, cameras
What
have been
about
everywhere, all over for a while anyway. We've been getting gradually desensitized to them. We hold them aimed directly at our faces all the time. We look right into them, you know?
Hey,
I
that's
seen I
It's
seen someone with a piece of tape over their camera. I believe it was Zuckerberg. I seen a picture of him online. He was talking to somebody, and then his computer's right here, and then you can see the little piece of tape over the camera. And I that's when I was like, that's very interesting to see somebody like
I
him
could
everywhere.
understand why he would do that because maybe it's possible someone could hack into his computer.
yeah,
But
there's a target on his back, and his stuff is worth a lot. So, yeah. I,
Wow,
on the other hand, am not worth uh, anything
I'm
to
not worth hacking.
anybody. So,
yeah, if
yeah,
you're gonna
What are
blackmail
you gonna
me,
get?
yeah,
You're
my
gonna
shirt.
watch
yeah,
me edit
here,
videos.
You know,
yeah. Blackmail me
Uh,
with what? Did I smoke weed?
I love to see someone hack the podcast. Go ahead. So yeah, make it go viral
Don't
if you
invite
can.
it. Don't invite it like that. Don't issue
Make
a
it go
challenge.
viral.
Don't issue a challenge, man. There is always somebody who might see that and say, okay, challenge accepted. And there are some really smart people out there who might just find a way.
It might be watching right
Yeah,
now.
the black hat challenge. Yeah.
yeah,
Could be one
yeah.
of the viewers right now. Out of four people,
No,
someone could be anywhere.
please, please, no. Don't hack us.
Um, but
Yeah.
if you do, press that thumbs up and subscribe, and then make this place go viral. Yeah.
What is it? I think I
Shout out
heard
to
in
all my
my IT class. It was you can technically hack any network. It's just a matter of time. You
mm,
can
Yeah.
eventually find. Uh, I know that's vague, but
No,
because
yeah. It's only a matter of time until some vulnerability shows up, somebody finds something. No
some
system is perfect, might be
no,
the flip side way to say it.
yeah, they leave a port open or they leave a old password. Yeah, something.
I got a comment for Kevin. It says, exactly, Kevin. Holy shit. Going into Disneyland this last week, my bag was checked, everything gone through, but I forgot to take my pocket watch out of my vest. Nothing happened. Mm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they're looking for pocket watches when they check people at the security line. You should be good, I think.
I mean, unless you got a nice pocket watch,
Ah, yeah.
Mm.
he's got some nice pocket watches.
He does, yeah, but they shouldn't be a security
Yeah.
risk.
Someone at the gate could be like, let me put this through the metal detector. Oh, you can't take this in. I'll hold it here. And they got off work 10 minutes later, went to the
Mm.
I
pawn
mean,
shop
I'm at
straight from work.
Disneyland or World or whatever. I imagine they deal with many thousands of people every day. So, um, yeah, I'm sure they're used to it. You know, people with disorders and yeah,
And pocket
uh,
watches?
pocket watches.
Wait,
What the hell is
If they
this?
have if they have the metal detector, that means you guys can't go through it because you guys have that thing on your chest, the VNS. That is very interesting. You guys could get through that. Um,
Yeah.
what would they do? I mean, because you can't do the chest and the neck, right? So,
Well, I'm sure I've been through some since then.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it
I've been
does
through metal
anything,
detectors.
but I just tell them anyway. I just say I've got the magnet on my wrist and I've got the implant here and up on my neck, so don't wand me from here up. They're just like, okay, you know. But I mean, anything that I might be hiding up here would be pretty obvious to begin with. You know,
well,
nobody
they're gonna see it.
conceals a firearm
Mhm.
on their shoulder blade. Like,
They have
so
you go through this machine, and you stand there, and then there's something that goes around you.
it's
I went
like,
to the
yeah,
airport,
you
and
lift your hands
they
up.
can see everything in your pockets and everything.
They can see
Uh,
everything. Yeah.
I wonder if they can see the
There
VNS.
was a
You know,
big
please take off your shirt.
controversy over that initially, over how detailed it was and how much of a view was being given to the TSA agents. Um,
Um,
That sounds like
Tim
something out of
said
a Tom Cruise movie from like the early 2000s,
yeah,
like Minority Report or something. Or yeah,
there's a comment. It says it's still metal. It should go off. A gun or a watch, it should set it off. It's stupid.
it might depend on the metal type. It might not be ferrous. If your pocket watches are made of like silver or something, that wouldn't set off a metal
What about
detector
nickel?
set for like steel gun gunmetal is a particular composition in order to handle those pressures and stuff.
aluminum.
What about nickel?
I mean, it's not nickel is good for turbine blades, but not so
Can you go
much.
through a metal detector?
Oh, nickel is non-ferrous. It wouldn't set off a metal detector.
They have nickel plated Glock 9s.
Yeah,
I'm just
plated
saying.
though. Plated
Yeah.
is not, yeah, everything underneath is still going to respond to those magnets.
There's a comment that said my nasalium sets it off.
Really?
That's
That's
interesting.
that's interesting. I would not have expected that. And I carry Nasolam with me now, so it's good to know. I just got my Nasolam refilled. I got so many refills just now recently. Oh, the doctor refilled 0.5 milligram clonazepam tablets. They gave me a refill of my Nasolam, and they gave me 31 milligram clonazepam tablets with this refill. They've never been that generous with the benzodiazepines before. I think they finally trust that I actually have epilepsy and need them or something. I don't know. They've always been so stingy in the past, though. If they, you have, Kevin, do you have um rescue benzos?
I do. I have lorazepam, a few of them around here somewhere.
And are they always like really, really stingy, just like a handful at a time every refill?
Honestly, never. They were never before. I don't use them now, and I think they gave me a jar of 30 or 20 before.
Oh wow.
That's a
Mm.
lot, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they were 1 milligram, but still, yeah, that's a lot.
yeah.
Um,
I got a question. If you
Hmm.
swallow something, is it going to set off the metal detector?
It depends on some things. How big is it? Like, what metal is it made out of? Would it set
I
off the
guess
That's what
metal
she said.
detector before you swallow it? If so, then odds are better that it might. It depends on, yeah. I don't know.
Um,
I don't know how
comment
maybe
here.
unstable the body would
if you
be.
swallowed a bunch of bullets or something, or a knife or something.
I mean,
I
bullets
don't know. It was
are
just a
lead.
thought. There was nothing in
Bullets
particular
are lead
I
plated
was
with
thinking about
brass. They
swallowing.
wouldn't set off a metal detector anyway. So, um, yeah, the um, swallowing a
Um,
knife. That used to be
Swallow
an
the
art
penny
form,
squeeze,
right?
boy.
there's no
Didn't
way
they
you're
stop?
swallowing a
Aren't
knife.
didn't they stop making pennies not too long
Yeah,
ago?
yeah,
Yeah,
I believe so.
apparently.
that's
Um,
kind of
There's a
weird.
comment here. It says the watch was mostly steel. The one that day was from 1883. The chain was silver, which won't set it off. I know that. It's just a funny thing how they check everything, but metal makes no difference. Sorry for the rant. It was just annoying to me at the moment.
Uh,
what
Get it
about
off your
iron?
chest.
If you have you seen the X-Men movie from I think I brought this up before. The X-Men movie from 2002 and Magneto. Are you familiar with Magneto? He controls metal
Yeah,
and
he can't
they
go to
and
Disneyland.
they trapped him in a bubble with no metal around. So
Yeah.
Mystique snuck him in by injecting iron into the guard's butt, took
Hmm.
a syringe, got
I
the guard
mean,
drunk, and stuck liquid metal into the guard's quarter times area.
yeah.
But that,
Why would he not be able to do that with the iron in the guard's blood to begin with? What metal was it that she injected with the syringe? Any metal that is injectable with a syringe would have to be liquid, and no metal that I'm aware of that's liquid at room temperature is also a ferromagnetic metal. So there are some scientific holes in the movie's plot.
well, of course there is. No one controls metal.
Yeah. And they
And
have him controlling like so many metals that are not like should not respond
yeah,
to.
right.
I
I mean
mean, if his
that's
name
the
is
problem with that.
Magneto, it's like
And
there's a little, yeah.
they kind of retcon that with the prequels. You know, they redid how strong he was and what metals he could control, but that's a whole bunch of other thing. Um, uh, in the prequels, he he became so strong that he polarized the Earth. He could almost shift to the poles of the Earth, but that was because of Apocalypse. The other villain. If anyone out there is watching this, you know what I'm talking
We
about.
got
It's a really cool.
four people watching right now.
Okay, great. Um, but watch the clip of Mystique sneaking Magneto out of prison. It's really cool. That was a
And
good
press the
movie.
thumbs up button.
Yes, it was very dramatic, very well done theatrically, even if you have to suspend some disbelief in order to um yeah, I liked the way it was done. It
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
it's science fiction. What did Ray Bradbury say? Ray Bradbury said,
Uh,
no, no,
any
no. It was
any
Rod
su-
Sterling. He
any
said,
sufficiently advanced technology becomes indistinguishable from magic.
no, no, he said,
I
science
think that
fiction
was
makes
Bradbury.
the improbable possible, makes fantasy. Oh, I'm screwing it up. It's a really good saying. Makes the
Um,
improbable
there's,
probable and the in fantasy. It's if you're out there, help me out.
The
Angel
Smash that
possible,
like
said,
button.
Angel said,
possible
same in the
protocol.
comics.
Hmm?
Same in the comments was the last comment. Talking
Hmm.
about no, it said same in the comics, like comic book. So whatever you were talking about, someone said it's the same in the comics.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you got to watch when I put my hand up. That means a comment is here. And another comment says, can't mercury be a liquid, but also considered a metal? I'm genuinely
Yes,
asking. I don't know
yes,
crap about science.
yes, yes. Very, very good point. Exactly. Yeah. Mercury is a liquid. It is a metal. It is actually one of the heavier metals on the periodic table. But it's not something that would respond to magnets like that. Um, Mercury does have some interesting properties though, but it's so incredibly poisonous that it's not really used for much anymore. It used to be used a lot in the hat making process. I think, and the mercury in the chemicals that they would use to process the right. What is it? Hold on.
Um, mercury. So,
Yeah, Mad Hatter disease, a form of mercury poisoning among 18th and 19th century hatters caused by inhaling mercuric nitrate fumes while processing felt, led to tremors, neurological damage, severe mood swings, and mad behaviors like extreme shyness and irritability. It was largely eliminated by the 1940s when mercury was banned in the industry. Yeah. Mercury is not used for much anymore, very tightly controlled. They don't make mercury thermometers anymore, for example. If you find one that is a mercury thermometer, it's actually a collector's item. Some people
oh,
some people do. Another interesting fact, it's not as dangerous to swallow mercury as it is to inhale it. That was according to poison control when I was a child. My mom was taking my temperature. I was trying to fake sick and I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to be found out for faking having a fever. So I bit down on the thermometer and it turned out that it was an actual mercury thermometer. So my mom freaked out and called poison control because it wasn't clear what happened, how much I had swallowed. And they said if I had swallowed any mercury, it's not dangerous as long as it just passes through. If you inhale the fumes, that's what's more dangerous. And it takes extended exposure to the mercury fumes to really get the poisoning. So, yeah, they told her not to worry, but I got in trouble for that. So, children,
understandable, I guess.
any children out there, do not bite down on mercury thermometers. It will not get
Yeah.
you out of school.
or any mercury for that deal.
Yeah, just stay away from mercury is a good rule of thumb, you know.
Where would I find it?
You don't because you're supposed to stay away from it.
uh, but if I needed some and I wanted to get it off the black market, where'd they get it from?
You would find
Um,
it in a 19th century alchemist dream.
yeah,
Mm,
mercury itself is not found um in a pure form, right? I think it needs to be processed from a mineral called cinnabar.
mm, okay.
I
Uh,
might be wrong about that. I'm not a chemist.
oh,
Got
another
that
thing I
quote,
had
by the
here.
way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say this real
Cinnabar
quick.
is a bright red toxic mercury sulfide mineral, primary ore of mercury, about 86.2% by weight. Yeah. So they refine it,
Um,
melt down the cinnabar, refine it, and you get the pure liquid mercury.
um, there was something I had to say.
Well, how about this?
Uh,
Fantasy is the impossible made probable. Science fiction is the improbable made possible. That was Rod Sterling.
Okay.
last time, Kevin, you said the U.S. is shackled to debt. And I didn't know what you meant by that. So that's why I wrote it down to ask you that.
Shackled to debt.
Before you say that,
Shackled.
Mark said, no, not Mark. There's a comment to Mark. It says, thank you for all that, Mark. I knew it was not a thing today. I have two watches that have uranium lit up arms and numbers for them. Crazy how stuff was fine then.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ladies who had the jobs to put the paint on the watches and stuff that had those, they would like lick the tips of the paintbrushes in order to get that really fine point before they dipped it into the paint with the uranium to get the glow. So they distributed those watches to U.S. troops in World War II, to GIs, so that they could read the time at night. So these glow in the dark watches being mass produced by ladies back at home getting, you know, cancer producing uh, radiation exposures from licking licking paintbrushes. It's a crazy world. And elsewhere in the
Um,
country, they were refining the uranium for other purposes, a bit more
another comment.
nefarious.
Another comment says, "Yep, the uranium girls." Huh, okay,
Yeah.
probably
That no
something
super
today.
movie. Superhero
Come
movie.
again?
Saying that sounds like a good superhero movie. The Uranium
Yeah,
Girls.
uranium girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, another thing was the shackled to debt.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, what did
In what
that mean when you
context
said
did I
that?
say this?
Um, I can't remember to be on it, but I wrote down shackled to debt. So I
Okay.
just
Yeah.
thought to
Well,
ask you what you mean by
I
that.
think personally and as uh most Americans are shackled to debt. They can't pay things off to buy more things. They have medical debt, they have college debt, they have and this might
Credit
actually
card.
credit card debt. Well, yeah, credit. It all goes on the credit card. You're using one credit card to pay off another, and that credit card pays off, your student loans. I had a relative who was making six figures a year. He's my age or a few years older, and yeah, he's making six figures, and he's still paying off his college. And this just seems ridiculous. And well, and it's it, I believe the highest um, portion of debt is medical debt in this country. That affects us extremely and everyone. But also, uh, a topic we were talking about last night, it folds over to that as well. If we have time, I'll get into that. What's the question?
Um, there's a question to, I'm assuming, Kevin, because it says that was a movie. Those women lost their teeth and lips and got cancer from making those watches. Upside
Oh,
down smiley face. Well, that would be considered sad face, basically.
I'll be right back to talk about that debt if I have time.
Um,
Poofy.
oh
You
yeah,
see
we were going
that?
to talk about animals. Um,
Poofy. Hi.
but I did have another
Hi,
one.
Poofy.
Is there a big difference between cravings, habits, and addictions?
Cravings, habits, and addictions. Three different things? Or,
Yeah.
um, yes, they are different.
Or what about a craving and an addiction? How close are them?
I mean, a craving is just a desire for something that you want, and addiction is a state of physical and psychological dependence on something. Well,
Another comment
not
says,
necessarily.
sorry about that. A
Well,
comment says, sorry, Radium Girls. So, Radium
okay,
Girls
yeah,
was the movie. Um,
okay. Oh
yeah.
yeah, radium, not uranium. Okay, yeah. There's um um uranium glass. Have you heard about uranium glass? It's
Uh,
got this
uh,
greenish color to it, and it glows under a black light. Yeah, they used to make it back in the early 20th century. It's really hard to find now because it is actually radioactive, but it's not like dangerously, like lethally radioactive. It's just like, you know, there.
yeah.
Yeah. It's manufactured with 0.1% to up to 2% uranium dioxide, creating the distinct yellow-green color that fluoresces bright green under UV black light. So popular from the 1830s through the 1940s, often called Vaseline glass when it's yellow. It is popular in collections for its vibrant glow and is generally safe, though it emits low levels of radioactivity. So that would be really cool. I would love to have a piece of like something made out of uranium glass, but I don't know. I need to figure out other parts, other things. There's like oh hey, there's cheapo little okay. Oh, they got little Etsy things and stuff. I was thinking like 1940s uranium glass something. But okay, I guess they still make it. It's not that they stopped back in the 1940s. It was most popular from the 1830s through the 1940s, and then I guess dipped off. But yeah,
um, the comment here says, Yes, they glow at night, are quite green. I'll show it on the next chat.
Nice.
We'll,
Look
we'll be looking
forward.
for you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Um, yeah, I was also had on the list. We were going to talk about like how pH balances and testosterone and stuff like that affect animal life. Uh,
Yeah,
I forgot
that's
where this topic came from.
I don't know.
Oh,
That was not mine.
this topic came from when you said poofy with a pH. Um, and I thought you guys were talking about pH balances, and you were just saying poofy is spelled with a pH. And then that's when
Poofy
I was like,
because
well,
poop. Poofy with a
oh,
PH
poopy?
because it says poop. But then if you add an
Oh,
H,
okay.
it still sounds like poofy, like her name, but poop, poopy, poofy. That was my
Yeah.
thinking behind the joke, not any PH anything. When Kevin said that, I thought he was talking about her feminine hygiene or something.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
that I thought was ridiculous. So I don't know. Not
poofy
that
with a PH.
this,
The
yeah,
joke was
well,
all over the place. I forgot who
because she
said that.
couldn't lick her back end. Yeah,
Huh?
because she couldn't lick her back end. But it
Oh,
turns out she's actually lost another pound since we last weighed her. So she's down to 13. So she's doing good. She was as large as 18 pounds. So
oh wow.
that's a pretty sizable difference. I think she's doing good. Proud of my big poof.
Would so it's bad that they um get to 18 pounds?
Overweight. Yeah, yeah. Cats can
Oh,
get
overweight.
diabetes
I didn't
too.
think about that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. She was obese. She was so fat she couldn't clean her back end by herself, and she was not about to let anybody else do it without giving them a fight. Um, so yeah, it.
you said she couldn't lick her back in and she wasn't gonna let anybody else do it. That's Kevin's eyebrows when you said that was like somebody else is gonna lick her back in.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
she definitely
Uh,
wasn't gonna let me lick her back end. As if I tried.
I
Oh
No,
wow.
I did
don't
not
know.
try.
People are starting to wonder
I
there.
did not try.
Mm.
No, no. My face could not get close enough to try.
Mhm.
No,
Wouldn't be me.
no. She's sharp. But no, that's when we took the buzzer. We talked about this last night. We need to stop talking so much about my cat's back end.
All right, well, what were you
Um,
asking me about debt or something?
That shackled but
you said we're shackled to debt.
yeah.
Yes, people, the disparity of wealth and the high cost of things. What? There's nothing wrong with debt. Why can't Americans pay it off? And it seems to
Oh,
have developed a new caste system. I would go so far to say uh, that a lot of people feel they can't advance in this country because
debt.
I don't know, lack of affordable housing, the credit and credit. You aren't the you are defined by your credit and your FICO score and uh, numbers like that. That's what you are. You're a number, and yeah, it's
Mm, mm. Okay. Um, the other thing for Mark is he was telling me how motorcycle drive-bys started in Miami. Uh, so I wanted to ask him about that. He
Griselda
said it was in the
Blanco.
80s. Huh?
Griselda Blanco, the
Oh,
cocaine queen of Miami back in the 80s. Yeah.
did not know that.
She invented the motorcycle drive-by to take care of her enemies. Yeah, because early 80s, um, fully auto machine guns were still um, easily
Legal.
accessible. Yeah. Um, and so yeah, she had her guys take a motorcycle, one of those sport bikes, high speed, uh, driver, and then have the guy sitting bitch on the back, armed with a fully automatic, like Tech 9 submachine gun, and guy on the bike weave through traffic, pull up right next to whoever. Guy on the back sprays, takes care of her problem, and then just thread through traffic, take off. Motorcycle drive-by. Explosion of murders in Miami in the 1980s. It was the cocaine capital of the United States. Um, and yeah, it
To
was
Kevin,
all almost all from just the one person, Griselda Blanco.
there's a comment for Kevin saying, if it weren't for my parents being so supportive, I'd be homeless and have no way to support myself. Stuff is just crap here right now. And that back to the credit conversation you were talking about in Shackled. This person says that.
Well,
Uh,
this is the problem again. Um, Young people aren't moving out of their homes, uh, staying in longer. The population will decline because we can't go out and meet other people. And yeah, this is the debt is part of, you know, the more fluid and attainable money is part of the childhood increase or decrease. I would theorize. I wanted to throw that in there. That's an ad, but yeah,
yeah.
thanks for the comment. Yeah, because we were talking
Yeah.
about children, children, and they decline in population and whatnot.
Okay. Um, yeah, the other thing we were talking about was natural disasters because there was record highs of the weather this week. And that also like made me think of it. The record high of the weathers here were different than the record highs of where you guys are because it shouldn't be 100 degrees in the Central Valley of California this time of year. And they said the last time it was, I think they said 94 was yesterday. They said the last time that was like that was 1940. Um, so we're setting records on our weather lately, um, big records. In the meanwhile, the East Coast is cold. I don't understand. uh, yeah,
Well,
you
we're
guys got to
we're
work
not
on that.
cold. We're pretty normal. I mean, it's 60 degrees here, so but that about March is a wild card always. But yeah, that sounds really, really hot out there. Um,
Yeah, you said normal is 60s. That's kind of cold for California. That's our cold. That would be a cold winter day.
isn't
60
Death Valley
degrees.
the hottest place on the earth?
The lowest,
I'm unsure. I'm
lowest.
in the Central Valley right now. Not quite
Death Valley
near
is
Death
the
Valley.
lowest altitude below sea level.
I said hottest.
Not always.
Yeah,
Often.
Uh,
one of the hottest. Let's go. Um, I mean, so when uh okay, natural disasters. You got like a list of them or something? Because the most frequent
oh
ones
no.
have been hurricanes. Hurricanes have been that have cost the most money. Natural disasters, and they've been costly, and it seems they've been mostly man-made. These ones,
Um,
I would
we
I
haven't
would
had a
throw that out
natural
there.
disaster. We haven't had a natural disaster outside of fires in California for a very long time. Um, Tsunamis, since I've been born, are kind of unheard of to hit California. Uh, yeah, I got to look that up because, yeah, the way California is on the coast from the Bay Area where I used to live, there's some mountains. Well, there's water, and there's some huge mountains, and then there's a Highway 280, and then some more mountains. So, and that's then the housing area is after all that. So we won't get affected by it. Um, the water raises and going to land and tsunami and all that. That wouldn't affect us, but it is possible because we get hurt. We get earthquakes. That is what we do get. So, yeah. But just if you don't live close to the beach when we get those earthquakes, then the tsunami probably possibly won't bother you at all. But I seen a documentary where a lady was talking about how the tsunami affected. It might have been Japan or something like that a long time ago. Uh, yeah, she was on the documentary saying how she was a kid when it happened and stuff, and then now she's an older lady. Uh, yeah, and a comment here says it was hot as fuck when I was in SoCal a few days ago. Oh yeah, SoCal is near me, and it is hot. It is. It is so hot that I did not wear a shirt today. I just have my hoodie on for the podcast. Other than that, I'm not wearing a shirt. It's too hot. Way too hot for a shirt. Um, but yeah, it amazes me how natural disasters happen different in different places. And I love that we don't get tornadoes and stuff like that like other states. Uh, our natural disasters are earthquakes and fires, which fires are more common, and earthquakes, actually, I think earthquakes might be more common. But yeah, they could both be equally as bad, but there hasn't been equally as bad lately. Last big one in the place I'm from was the year I was born. They called it Loma Prieta. That was the name of the fault. I forgot the name of the fault right there, but yeah, there's a fault that goes right through where I used to stay.
San
I mean,
Andreas.
where I grew up at, and they said we're overdue for an earthquake. They said we're overdue for a big one, and been saying that for years. So it's bound to come any day now. That's what they say. We're due for a big one, so just be ready. And there's a comment here that says, "Freeze!" When I was on the with you a few days ago. Oh, that's James. Yeah, he said, yeah, it was hot that day. It was hot doing the podcast yesterday in a t-shirt. I don't know if you guys kept seeing me go like this, especially at at the end of the night. Uh, yeah, whoever didn't see me eat that jalapeno at the night, you can go watch that. We were live
Oh,
yesterday. Didn't eat a jalapeno actually. We put some. Well, not we. My mother put the peppers that Mark sent me inside of a stew, and those were hotter than jalapenos, I believe. If my memory
everything that
serves
I
me right.
sent you was hotter than a jalapeno. So, yes.
Okay, yeah. I had a friend who eats his food with with a jalapeno. I gave you this story yesterday, but yeah, I can't do that. And just like take a bite of his taco, you know, and do that throughout his meal. Oh man, I don't know how you guys do that. And Angel said since he's Latino, he said it's pickled. I'm like, I couldn't do it. I hot stuff just. I like hot stuff, but it gives me bad. I got gastrointestinal problems, so it messes me up. But I grew up loving hot stuff.
I could probably eat deep fried jalapeno peppers. I think I have. Yeah. Yeah. But they're not the heat is taken away, so those are really good. Deep fried peppers. And I'm just saying they're a good option
Uh,
if anyone is interested. As far as appetizers, I am well versed in such questions.
you
If
like hot
you
stuff?
if you had to choose between eating a pepper or just eating onion rings,
Onion rings.
I'd still have heartburn either way.
Yeah, I love onion rings, man.
Yeah,
yeah, fried foods do cause heartburn.
I
I would
had
agree.
some grilled onions on a
Worth
burger
it.
recently, and I had very bad heartburn that night. I don't really like onions unless they're grilled. So that one I did like they were grilled and they were on the burger and they looked good. And then like an hour later, throughout the night, I had heartburn. It's horrible.
You got to get a
Uh,
more balanced diet, man. I hear you hiccuping a
uh,
lot. That's you got to drink some water or something.
yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I drink a lot of water. I mean, all I drink is water. So
maybe less. I don't know, more or less. None. I don't know.
that's actually my preference of liquid water.
Yeah, you do. Cheers.
There's a comment that says, Mark, I got to send you my salsa recipe. It was from a coworker that retired a couple of years ago, but he grew his own peppers too. You got
Nice.
some pepper fans on here. Hmm. Yeah. Also, I found out that they grow cotton on a tree. Did you guys know that? I thought cotton was like a bush. I thought people picked cotton from like bushes, but there's a tree named the cottonwood tree um, that grows cotton. I found that out the other day. I was like, is there another way to grow cotton? And it says female cottonwood trees produce a fluffy cotton-like substance in the late spring and early summer. Would that be like something we can make clothes out of?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Hmm.
You could probably make clothes out of a lot of plants. Yeah, just yeah. You can make clothes out of hemp. You can make clothes out of anything you can twine together, pretty much.
Nice. Yeah. You guys ever seen a cottonwood tree?
I I am unfamiliar. I do not know.
No. Um, yeah, that was everything on the list. We pretty got everything. Another topic I had on my head was that like research is changing these days, and I kind of felt like we knew more when we did the research instead of the research that just comes from the internet and Googling these days. You guys agree with that? The internet knows more than we do? How do you feel about that? Because Yeah, I feel like research was really good back in the day. They got more money to do more research, which made it better. But the way people do research for like projects and stuff like that, a lot of the research comes from online, not from just the knowing and experience of that.
I mean, I'll just say this. Computers do things faster than humans.
Mm.
I'm not saying better, faster. They can pile information, they can do other things, but they're not better than humans. At
They are only as good as the humans that are operating them.
Right.
maybe,
What is it?
but I think with the internet is a sum of everything that we put into it. You know, all the cultural information, well, all the educational information. That's what ChatGTP draws from. That's what the AI resources draw from, and uh, and they do it faster. They can do it in a second. It'll take a student hours or weeks to do that. So, and like I said, faster, but it can make mistakes, and it does. And there's repercussions to that.
Does it make more mistakes than humans?
Um,
No. Okay. Mm. Back to the peppers conversation. We got another comment that says this person worked with my mom for about 20 years, shared the recipe with me. Um, yeah, you're gonna get Mark a pepper recipe. Wait, a salsa recipe. Do you like salsa, Mark? I do.
I don't cook a lot for myself, and I don't have any peppers this year. I haven't started any seeds yet, so I don't know. I don't have anything to work with right now yet. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough energy to do all of this and the whole pepper farm. So we'll see. Uh,
Yeah, they said we might not get peppers this year. If you guys heard Mark, I'm just kidding. Um,
we'll-
yeah, when it's time, I will be ready for pepper time. I should get a garden and grow my own peppers. Nah, that's too much work.
Actually, pretty
Um,
easy because the peppers are the one thing you plant that animals will not touch. I've
mm,
seen.
my
they
mom's
When I
dog, I think she'll get anything.
when I planted them, none. I had tomatoes and other stuff. They ate the tomatoes every night. I was just feeding the raccoons and stuff, and but they never touched the peppers.
Yeah, they don't touch the pepper f fruits, that's for sure. They mess with the leaves, the foliage, and the plants themselves. I've had a couple of my plants pulled entirely out of the grow
Oh,
bags and stuff, but they didn't eat any of the peppers off of the plants that they pulled out of the ground. They just left it there.
they're just complete dicks.
Dang
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom's dog just rips stuff out of the ground. So yeah, she does kind of leave it there. She just kind of rips it out of the ground, and we're like, oh, well, you tore up a plant that's been there for 30 years. So yeah, that's what's going on around here. You guys got anything you want to throw out there, or you want to call it a day? We've been live for 3 hours, so it's been a good day. Almost 3 hours, actually. Um, So yeah, what else did we have? I didn't have anything else on my list. Do you guys have anything? Do you guys have a list?
I just kind of jumped in.
No,
Uh,
I'm good. Yeah, seems like a
okay.
good wrapping up point.
All right. Well, to everybody out there watching, um, thanks for watching. And we're gonna get going. And hope you guys have a good day. Like this video, share this video, subscribe, press the little bell to let you know we're going live. And that'll be it. It was nice. Very good day. See you guys again on Wednesday.